Peace to everyone. I have not been doing a lot of videos recently on Muskogee things other than my son's, the video of my son singing Yama Isti Mithganan. Shy of that, I have not really been all that active on my channel since the election, and since the U.S. national election. A lot's been happening in my personal life that I'm still not ready to really get into at this time, but suffice it to say that I've been pretty busy. I've not been quick to respond to messages or phone calls or anything. I'm also working my butt off at my current job. Really put my nose to the grindstone because I got to make changes in my life. I've been making changes, but I also have to make more changes. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. But I will say that in the course of events, ranging from issues with the porch ban of Creek Indians regarding Muskogee Nation, which I still need to finish listening to, there's a lot going on with that. Hickory Ground, what was happening about, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months ago. And most recently, which is what I'm going to get into in this video, is two things which are now connected. Turner Hunt, who's someone I didn't know anything about until the last couple days, has been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook criticizing the leadership of Muskogee Nation, including, to a certain degree, Principal Chief David Hill. Now, mostly he's been criticizing other people. He's also been posting how Principal Chief David Hill had cited him at one point as a source regarding things. In a way, it seems to boost his own credibility, Mr. Turner Hunt, that is. The problem is, there's a lot of people on the Muskogee Facebook groups that want to shut him up. They want to shut him down. They want to shut down any kind of freedom of speech. Anything that goes against the grain, that goes against the status quo, they want to shut it down. And guess what? I'm not for any of that, okay? I'm all about freedom of speech. If you got an opinion, feel free to express it. If it's relevant to the nation, go ahead and talk about it. I may not agree with your opinion regarding the freedmen issue and any issues people might have about enrollment at this time. But that's a different issue. You have a right to say what you want to say. And if someone's going to shut you down for a difference of opinion, they need to shut you down with facts, not by saying, we have to block this person, we have to ban that person. They're slandering our leaders. Well, he's saying things that may be true. Now, here's the deal. I've defended him on some of these posts. Rather, I've defended his freedom of speech. I also let him know directly that he needs to back it up with facts, because if he doesn't, I will speak against them. I will do it here on this channel. I will do it on the Facebook groups that he's been posting in. I want to see the truth. Now, here's the funny thing. Like a day or so after I said that, I'm not saying this is on me, okay? I'm not going to give myself that kind of credit, but I will say this much. Like a day or so later, Anne Townsend, who used to be the main person regarding the outreach for the Muskogee Nation citizens at large, those who were living off the reservation, okay? She recently had resigned from her position, and a lot of that had to do with Second Chief Del Beaver and also others within the Muskogee Nation government. Now, here's the thing. She seems to have a good rapport with Principal Chief David Hill, and she resigned to him formally and also previously let him know that she was going to be resigning. And everything I can tell about her is that she's a pretty genuine person. That's what I seem to gather from her. And I respect what she's been trying to do. Now, granted, I think her job is bigger than herself. I think that the position that she had was bigger than one person, and she needed some help. Particularly, and this is just me being a nitpicker, as I'm oft to be, I was accepted into one of the groups literally the day after the last California Muskogee at-large gathering. I have a friend from this channel, a viewer, who was there, and I would have been there instead of being in Mexico. I would have canceled the Mexico trip to be there if I knew it was even happening. I literally didn't even know until the day after it was over, because the day after it was over, I was accepted onto that group that I had requested a month prior to be a part of. That's the only gripe I have against Miss Anne Townsend. Other than that, she seems like a genuine person who's been really hardworking, trying to, as I said sometimes, magnify her calling, okay? Do the best job she can for as many people as possible. That's the impression I get from the work that she's done. I realize that she doesn't think she's done a perfect job, but I also can tell that she believes she's done a good job. And I think she has, despite what I just said about the internet thing, okay? Because, again, I would have been there. I would love to have been there. And I would have loved to have taken my son there to be around my people here in California if I even knew it was happening. So, for that and other reasons, I think the job is bigger than her. But that's because the job is bigger than one person, not because she wasn't more than capable of doing the job in general, okay? But again, like, some positions require additional funding. They require additional manpower or woman power or whatever you want to say. So I get it. But based upon the things that she has said, not that I'm saying, and I'm not going to back this up, mind you, without having more proof, her interactions with Second Chief Del Beaver have not been the most positive, and not because, based on what she's saying, it's not because of anything that she's done. It's because he has a certain, he's been acting rude and disrespectful towards her. Let's put it that way. And he's probably gunning to be the next chief. That last part I definitely believe. As far as everything else she said, I don't know the man personally, but I'm inclined to believe it potentially. I'm not going to say I do believe it. I'm not going to say that it's true. I don't know if it's true or not. Okay. As far as I know, he hasn't made a statement about it. I mean, I could be wrong. I may be a little bit behind on the times. She, maybe a month ago, resigned from her position. Okay. But she has expressed that she's not the only person who's dealt with these problems from certain individuals in the Muskogee Nation government. Given what I can see and what others are also saying, there's probably some truth to that, to say the least. I don't know firsthand because I'm not there. I'm not interacting with these individuals. I live in California right now. I haven't lived in Oklahoma in over a decade, okay? So a lot of changes have happened for Muskogee Nation, for the government, for a lot of things since that time. So I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh man, Second Chief Del Beaver's a whatever, right? I'm not going to say anything in particular about him because I don't know. But that's the word of the streets. And most of it's coming from her. She says others, she knows for a fact others could back her up, basically. And I, if they come to her defense, then that's the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Now, I'm not saying you can't rile up people who are discontent for other reasons to lie about somebody, because I think a lot of the hashtag Me Too stuff might be connected to to what I just said. On the flip side, if you want proof that somebody is guilty or not, you either got to have like video and audio proof, like Amber Heard saying to Johnny Depp, her husband, "I didn't hit you, I slapped you." Hilarious and absolutely damning. Okay? You need stuff like that in today's world to prove something happened. Otherwise, you need evidence, which isn't proof, but is evidence. And that requires witnesses. So Ann Townsend needs witnesses. For all I know, she might have some now, because coming full circle here, Mr. Turner Hunt, I guess tomorrow there's going to be some live stream with her and Mr. Hunt regarding some of these issues that he's been posting about on Facebook. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if that's the case, I'm Pacific time. Hopefully I'm off work and I can listen to it. If I'm not off work, hopefully I can still listen to it while I'm on the job or driving home. Either way, I plan to listen to it and see what's going on, because he's been posting a lot of stuff. Now, is he out there? Is he on the level? I don't know. I don't know enough about him other than the fact that apparently he's been quoted in a number of articles, and that Principal Chief David Hill has actually cited those quotations on one of his Facebook posts. That's about all I know. That's all I can verify about Mr. Hunt. And the fact that he is obviously mixed-blooded. He has more light complexion. And that some people who have since rescinded their comments on some of these groups were telling him to go back to his white side. Now, let me tell you something about that. That shit doesn't fly with me. You tell someone who's Muskogee and black, hey, go back to your black side. How's that going to fly? It's not. It's not going to fly at all. So if someone looks white because, oh, their mom married Stehetke, their grandmother married a Stehetke, their great-grandma married a Stehetke, but their great, whatever, they're still Muskogee, right? And they're still citizens of the nation. They, like myself, might even have a clan in a tribal town, matrilineally. You tell me to go back to my white side, I'm going to tell you to F off. And it's not because I'm ashamed of my white blood, because I'm not. I'm not. But I'm as Muskogee as anybody else. More so. You got people that are 7/8, but they don't have a clan or a tribal town because their maternal line great-grandmother was white or black. Well, mine was Muskogee. So, there. Gotcha. Anyway. But there's many of our people that are so mixed and so zigzag lineage, like the clan, any clan relationship is now far gone. You got people saying, oh, I'm a Wind Clan descendant. I'm a direct female line descendant of Sahoy. And I'm asking them, direct female line? They're like, yes. I'm like, direct unbroken line? Yes. With no males breaking the line? Oh, except Captain William McIntosh. Oh, gotcha. Okay, well, then you're not a direct female line descendant. Sorry. How do I identify? Well, you identify as Muskogee. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do. If neither of your parents have clans, then you can't say that you're this clan or a son or daughter of that clan, which is your father's. Because you can say that if it's your father's clan, you're a son or daughter of that. If your mother is of that clan, then you are of that clan. That's the way it is traditionally. So, Mr. Turner Hunt, I don't know where he stands on any of that, where he fits within that whole traditional historical paradigm. I will say he seems like he is an educated individual, but I want him to cite his sources. I want to know what's going on. If he's going to crap on one politician for getting in a bar fight at one point and use that as an excuse for why they shouldn't be in office, I'm not going to validate that, because I'm not of the opinion that you should be considered a felon for getting in a bar fight. Okay, I'm sorry. If it's fisticuffs, if you're pulling a knife or a gun on somebody in a bar fight, that's a little bit different. Okay, If the person was embezzling funds from the Muskogee Nation, then yeah, they should never be in office ever again. They should be out. They should be arrested and prosecuted and made to pay back those funds. Okay. But I want to know the truth. I want to know what actually happened. Now, you got a lot of individuals who are going to say, oh, but don't you believe in forgiveness and shouldn't this happen? And I get that on one hand, because I'm seeing that type of thing in the comments. My issue is this. Did this person commit the crime? Did they commit some type of embezzlement after becoming part of the Muskogee Nation government? If they did beforehand, they should never have been voted in the first place, except some people just don't know what's going on. And maybe that's a family member and they all voted for their family member and they know that they like him and they think he's a great guy. And so they voted for him. That is kind of a thing that happens sometimes. I don't know if that's the case or not. Okay. But certainly if it happened after you got into the position, you definitely should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I'm sorry. But I want to know the truth. Show me the facts, Mr. Hunt. Okay? Show us the facts. And if that's what we see tomorrow, that'd be great. I don't want to see rhetoric. I don't want to hear propaganda. I want facts. I want times, dates, places. I want to know that type of thing, because if that's not what's being presented, then how do we know that some of your detractors on Facebook who are saying, you just have, nobody wants to listen to you, and that's why you're just saying a bunch of mean things and slandering people. Maybe they're right. But I want to know if they're right or wrong. You see, that's the deal. And I think everyone has a right to speak their piece. I think everyone has a right to defend themselves. And we should presume innocence until proven guilty. And that goes both ways. It goes with the Muskogee Nation politicians and Mr. Hunt. Okay. And Mrs. Townsend, Anne Townsend, she has a hyphenated name. I can't remember, Miller or something. I don't know. But again, she strikes me as genuine. If she's bringing this guy into the mix, if she is on the level with everything she's saying, and I'm putting if because I haven't heard anything in particular from Second Chief Del Beaver. I don't know what's going on. I want to know the truth. If he is acting the way that she is alleged, then I don't want him as my chief. I definitely wouldn't be voting for him as second chief again, if that's the case. Because if that is the case, if the way that he has been treating her, and if you want to know the story, you can probably look it up. It's probably all over Muskogee Facebook stuff if you look up Anne Townsend resignation, okay? Others have posted the stuff on her behalf as well, as I believe her posting it too. I received it from a friend through private messages before I ever saw it on any of the groups, which I later then saw on the groups, okay? If the allegations are true, he should be ashamed of himself and he should probably resign. And I definitely will not be voting for him until I know the truth one way or the other. But we got some time until he could even run for office if he decides to do so. Second Chief Del Beaver, if you're watching this, you're probably not, but if you are, or if any of your family members are watching this, please respond. If Anne Townsend is wrong, respond so we can hear your side of the story and know the truth, okay? And bring your own witnesses too. If she's right, well, step down. I'm sorry, but I don't want to see that type of crap in the government. I don't. It's not good politics. It's not a good optic. We can't be taking capable people and driving them away for whatever other personal issues we might have, any fear of their influence, if that is in fact the case. Again, that's if it's the case. I don't know if it's the case or not. I want to know the truth, okay? So I'm curious to hear what Anne Townsend has to say. I'm really interested in hearing what Turner Hunt has to say. And I will be giving my commentary afterwards because I want to know what's going on. And whatever I post here, this is open-ended. I am not taking one side or the other on this. I want to know the truth, and I want you guys to be able to hear the truth, or to have the option of hearing an alternative point of view. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of people in most of the Muskogee groups, it seems like, are heavily censored. You either can't leave any kind of, if it's an official page, most of the time you can't even leave a comment without getting permission, without them approving it. And I'm sorry, man, that doesn't really sit well with me. I'd rather it be the Wild West, where you have to delete people or delete comments that are outlandish and threatening and all that type of stuff. I'd rather have the Wild West than have no speech, but the official speech, because only the government is allowed to speak. You know what I'm saying? No, screw that. We all have right to speak. You could be a nut job. I'm sorry, you could be a total absolute nut job. You have a right to say your piece. Now, people don't have to listen to you if they don't want to, okay? Other than town hall meetings, and you get 4 minutes? Now, here's the thing. If Mr. Hunt is being denied his minutes by the government, then they're violating his rights. If that is the case, then shame on them. Okay? And I mean that. But I also want to know the truth. Because before I take his side against them, I want to know what's actually going on. And he will give his side of the story. But I'm going to want to hear their side. And if they don't speak out in their own defense, then they're guilty by default. Pretty much. If you don't speak about something, you don't respond, you can say, nope, it's not true. I'm not going to get into details about it, but he's lying. It's not true. Even if all you say is that, you're at least responding. If you don't do that, at least do something like that. Then, or say something like, these allegations are untrue. They're unfounded. I don't want to give any credibility. I'm not going to fight this person. I just don't want, whatever. Just make some very nice, peaceful statement that, basically, for your part, illegitimizes what they say. Then do something at least like that. Okay? So, Second Chief Del Beaver, I expect you to at least make some kind of response. If you haven't already, again, as of the date of this video, you may have already said something. I don't know. But if you haven't, you need to say something. Because this is going to come back and bite you if you don't. And it may bite you anyway, whether it's true or false. Okay? So you got to say something. Anyone and everyone that Turner Hunt speaks against needs to say their side of the story. Okay? But yeah, I do notice that there is a tendency to just expect people to shut up and do what they're told in Indian country. And I'm not for that. I'm for native free speech, 100%. Okay? And yeah, I don't care if you look red, white, black, yellow, green, purple, whatever. Okay? If you're a citizen of an Indian nation, or you're a citizen by blood, particularly, okay, then yeah, you have the right to speak. Okay? So speak your piece. Or speak your not so piece. Okay? But speak your mind. Because it's amazing how many people say, oh, I'm a Democrat, I believe in democracy, but then they want to shut down free speech. And it's not just white Democrats. I'm seeing this in Indian country as well. Because I guarantee you, a lot of these citizens who want to shut down, they're Democrats. They're Democrats. They are. So I'm not saying Republicans are always the good guys. I'm not saying that. But yeah, I'm sorry. The Democratic Party has been the party of shutting down free speech for the last several years. And that's beyond contestation. It's absolutely a fact. I've seen it. And they've done it through Facebook, through YouTube. And by other means, of course. But that's what I've seen the last several years. And it seems like that's going to come to an end, at least on Facebook. So that's good. Let's see about YouTube. And yeah, I mean, if there's Muskogee town hall meetings for the nation, we can't be shutting down our citizens. They've got to be allowed to speak. You don't have to like what they say, but if you believe in the freedom of speech, if you pretend that you're a Democrat, then you have to at least pretend that you care about their freedom of speech enough to allow them to have it. Okay? So, let him do it. And if he's wrong, speak up. Contradict him. Contradict Anne Townsend if she's wrong. Contradict her. Okay? Speak your own testimony on the issue. Whatever issue it may be. Okay? Because I don't want to see free speech shut down in Muskogee Nation or any Indian nation. But particularly Muskogee Nation, because that's my nation. Okay? I don't want to see people have their voices shut down and they feel like they can't say anything. They got to hide in their cave and do what they're told, like good little Indians. Because if you don't do that, then guess what? You're not red enough. You're not Indian enough because you're going to your white side or to your black side or whatever else, or you're an apple or whatever. Okay? You're any of those things because you're not doing it the official way. If you like Thanksgiving, then how dare you? Because no good Indian would dare celebrate Thanksgiving. Even though Muskogee Nation gives out free turkeys, and Anne Townsend was actually responsible for doing a lot of that, by the way. Okay? How dare you believe in Thanksgiving being okay? That's what got me kicked off of one Facebook group, by the way. Is I said, I don't care. I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful that my ancestors survived the Trail of Tears. I'm thankful that I'm here, that I have a son, that I will have descendants who survive those horrible historical events because our ancestors survived those historical events that were terrible. So we're here now because of them. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to God for that. Oh, no, that's not Indian enough. I have to be a good little Indian if I'm going to be an Indian at all. Shut up, do what I'm told, and condemn Thanksgiving no matter what. You can't practice Thanksgiving. How dare you pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? How dare you do those things? How dare you believe in the U.S. Constitution, which has the freedom of speech in it? That's a white man document, even though it has a lot of Native principles contained therein. But I digress. It doesn't matter if it has Native influence because it was written by white men, and therefore you're not a good Indian if you don't condemn it. You like Christianity? Well, that's the white man's religion. And if you believe in Jesus, then you must be a bad Indian because only a bad Indian or no Indian at all would believe in Jesus, right? That's the prevailing attitude I see going around these days, even among some who've sung Creek hymns and who've even, apparently been Christian at some point in their lives. And that really bothers me a lot. Okay? Because if you look at the history of Muskogee Christians, they were persecuted by the traditionalists. They were persecuted by their own people, whipped, attacked, beat by their own people for believing in Jesus. So before you sit there and condemning Christians and Christianity and making the rest of us look bad for being Christians, we're not Indian enough for you, well, why don't you look at history? Look at some of the bad things our ancestors may have actually done before Christianity showed up, because there is some truth to that as well. Now, did Christians always do right by us? No. And that's also a fact. I'm not going to deny that either. But those who truly have followed Christ are not the ones doing those evil things. And there's a lot of good Muskogee people that converted to Christ and were persecuted for it and accept their stripes willingly and gladly, but they shouldn't have had to. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I'll let you know mine after I listened to Ann Townsend and her Hunt. But oh.